I knew it was going to start me small. What's up, guys? How you doing? Why do they do that? Why? How are you? What's going on, people? The Brits know how to protest? Where are they protesting? Let's see. What's up, Victory Gin? Reposting the stream on X. Thank you. We're live on X, YouTube, and on Rumble. I don't know, guys. I'm feeling a little bit, I don't know what, frustrated, I guess would be a good word today. Mic level check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? My level is at where it always is every single day, pretty much. So if you're having a hard time hearing me, I don't know. Let me know. Let's see. It's frustrating because, well, first of all, my timeline, my Twitter timeline is just absolutely flooded with right-wing like morons, which, and I think half of them are bots. I'm trying not to be, for a second there, I was like taken in by the frustration, and I was just like tempted to respond to every stupid tweet with like, you are dumb, but like, yeah, don't do that. There is a lot of manipulation going on right now. And this is not related. I'm feeling it and seeing it all over my social media. I just lost, I'm still transmitting on YouTube, but somehow I lost 20 followers in the last day. Just they decided like scoop out a bunch of followers just to make sure I don't, every time I'm gaining a couple of, I feel like, oh, I'm gaining a couple of followers. They're like, no, you're not. But the same thing has been going on all of every single social media platform that I'm on. Thanks, Chuck. Every platform, I'm just like losing followers and like throttled to the max. I'm just trying to post about music on several of my platforms, and they're just like, nah. And it's, I feel like that's, adding to my level of frustration in life. But you have to remember that you're kind of not really in control, at least in that area. So I try to control what I can and let go of the things that I can't control. I think I heard that somewhere. Yeah, and this is not, hold on one second. I want to play this video. I saw this right before the show. By the way, sorry I didn't, I set up the show kind of late here just because it's been such a weird morning. This guy, Demiza, what's his first name? I forget. He's like a record exec. And he does this like news show kind of thing on Instagram where he gives people like breaking news. But he's talking about the prevalence of bots in the Spotify world. What's his name? Is it John Demiza? What's his name? Damien Demiza. Damien Demiza. Anyways, he's talking about the prevalence of bots on Spotify and how the labels are using like bot wars against their own artists in order to tank their numbers so that they don't have any leverage to restructure their deals or ask for more money. It's freaking weird, man. They're tanking their own business models. And maybe there's a way that they're making money on all of this still. The way he explains it is like, maybe if you have a bunch of little artists making a little bit of money, it all adds up to a lot of money. But then they don't have, but you can always point to the fact that you're still a little indie artist and you're not really making that much money. So, scram, take what we give you. So he's going to tell you about what's going on in the music industry. It's interesting.
This morning, and we're talking about streaming. I mean, look, streaming 20 to 30% is bots. I mean, they've taken the weight out of radio where you can't fake the funk, and they've moved it to these streaming platforms. So these streaming platforms with 20 to 30% bots. Now think about this for a second. Think from a compound interest standpoint. I mean, 20 to 30% year over year over a decade. I mean, you wonder why you get these wacky charts from Billboard, the top 100 of the last decade. You wonder why it's so quirky. Well, there you go. Compound interest with bots. And look, they're not trying to artist develop. They don't want big artists to be brands anymore. The reason why is when they blow up, they got to negotiate with them. I mean, the more leverage that they have over the label, the more mad the label gets. They think, we made you, we built you into this brand, and now you want to charge us for it? I mean, look at the Drake case. I mean, if you take away all of the Kendrick Lamar stuff, take away the beef stuff, and look at the battle. He's saying that they used bots to inflate someone else's number for a change, not his, to take away his market share in the middle of a contract negotiation. Do you see where this is going? I mean, that's what is happening with the entertainment industry as a whole. These big content creation companies and data companies and record companies, former record companies, don't want to pay talent anymore. So what are they doing? They're creating AI material, and they're putting a banana in the tailpipe of artists.
And if you're an artist, if you're just a little indie artist, posting your stuff on Instagram or trying to post on Facebook or trying to get some traction, they squash all of your stuff so that people can't see you. Unless you're lucky enough to break through somehow, right? If you somehow have a couple of breakthrough posts and you get a bunch of followers, but like, it's tightly controlled. As I said, like on TikTok, when I first joined TikTok, my first couple of posts, and several of my posts got a ton of views right away. And a few of my posts started doing like this is going to go viral thing. And they were like, and they just stopped those posts from getting any more traction. And then, I don't know, not long after that, they just started doing to me what YouTube is doing to me, which is like every single post get less and less views and less viewers and less views and less viewers and less views. And they're absolutely just like completely shadow banning me on TikTok. Same with Instagram. I've been posting about music the last couple of days, and they're like, nope. Nobody's going to see this. We're going to just make sure that nobody sees this. It's freaking wild. Thanks for the support, Kate, for my latest musical endeavors. I appreciate you. Did release a song yesterday. I'll repost the link again today. And if y'all want to go check it out. Anyways, frustration abounds. There's just the internet is becoming a place that's increasingly run by algorithms and fake traffic and fake, either views or non-views. Just like Google being a hide engine and not a search engine, right? You're either getting a lot of the wrong kind of content, or you're having right, you're being kept from seeing any of the people that you would normally interact with. So that's what's happening to my Twitter right now today, and that's what's part of my frustration. Is that all I'm seeing is just absolute, like, Nimrod, waist deep in gaslighting. We got to go get those lefties. They're really violent, and they say that Trump is a fascist, and they think that we should assassinate Trump, and that's why we got to go get it. And they're just spewing the stupidest, dumbest, ridiculous nonsense. They think that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. What a bunch of lunatics. It's just like, what is going on? And that's like most of what I'm seeing right now is just this like spew of nonsense. And I'm like, okay, this is completely obviously generated. Some of these people might be real people. Obviously I don't want to see this in my feed, and it's going to make me really pissed off. That's why I'm getting it. To generate reactions from me, it's just, ridiculously stupid. But they are going hard at the gaslighting, at the absolute, like, the most shrill volume of gaslighting is going on right now. And it's scary to watch. It's frightening to watch. And, I don't know if, I think that trying to avoid the gaslighting is a good idea. But excuse me. It's also good, you have to kind of stay connected to what is going on. Like, what are people saying? What are they doing? This is a news channel, so I have to, I'm trying to tell you what is happening, what's going on. But all I can say is what's going on is really frightening. And that's Kate, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Like, listen, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, or if you're involved with a narcissist, like, they tell you the best way to, like, don't confront, don't engage, go, no contact, or gray rock, or go, you know what I mean? Just like shut down everything, right? Supposedly today there's supposed to be a strike, like a general strike today against the Trump administration. I haven't seen too much of it in my timeline. But again, I'm seeing all the wrong things in my timeline, so how would I know? And I'm sure if people are spreading information about a general strike around, that they're trying their very best to shut it down. What needs to happen is a general strike, a prolonged general strike, not for one day, but I'd say the next several weeks. Like, we need to shut down business as usual for several weeks, if that's, what we need to do. I don't know how people can do it. There might be ways to organize something like this, or encourage something like this. I don't know, but I think not engaging is, for right now, a very viable action. Just do not engage with these, and if you're engaging, don't engage with fake, stuff that's going on. And a lot of what's going on is fake stuff. It's absolutely generated. It's absolutely it's just gaslighting, to a high degree, a bunch of gaslighting. Now it's the right are just screaming, "Oh my God, the left is coming! They're going to get us! They call us fascists, and that's why they're going to go. They're going to get us!" And political violence. Nobody believes in political violence. Really? Okay, come on now. You guys are funding, mass murder in Gaza. You guys are indiscriminately bombing fishing boats off of Venezuela. You guys are indiscriminately, rounding up people, and that's absolutely political violence. Rounding up people and deporting them, pell-mell. All of that is political violence. So the whole we don't political violence, we don't do it. No, shut up. Shut up. It's the old you're being, somebody just is acting like all kinds of ways, all kinds of crazy ways, and then any reaction you have, oh my God, I can't believe you're being so crazy. You're being really mean. Okay, no, I'm not. No, I don't think so. Anyways, the whole thing is fake. The whole Charlie Kirk thing is fake, and they're really gaining a lot of mileage out of this fake thing that happened. Let's here's a post. Hell has frozen over. Tucker Carlson is calling out the fascist authoritarian Trump regime because that's what they are. They are exhibiting all the signs and all the behaviors of fascism. They're completely 100% fascist. They're 100% fascist, doing all the fascist things, running the fascist playbook. When's Kristallnacht? I gotta, set my watch to it. It's coming soon, I guess. Or maybe Kirk was Kristallnacht. I don't know. They're running the fascist playbook. They're and they're doing the well, we're victims of the left. What are we gonna do? We're gonna have to do something. What? Hold on. Denver says there's a legal principle whereby citizen can file this motion with public officials, some sort of demand for accountability. They mentioned it weaponized news last night. Okay. Well, there are many ways that citizens can do what they can. There are lots of avenues. There will never be a general strike as long as we need Wi-Fi, Starbucks, and gasoline to drive us to our Big Mac drive-thrus. You got a point there. Oh, let me finish reading this. Tucker Carlson is calling out the fascist authoritarian Trump regime for insidiously using the assassination of Charlie Kirk as an excuse to abolish the First Amendment. That is exactly what they are doing. They've already walked all over habeas corpus. They've walked all over, they have absolutely obliterated, so many legal rights that everybody has, and they're trying to get, obliterate more. That's what fascists do. That's exactly what fascists do. Chuck says build alternative support systems, including internet Wi-Fi. There you go, Chuck. Right. He's saying they're going to carry out the Nazification of America. So Tucker Carlson, long known to be somebody on the inside or a CIA plant or a narrative manager or whatever, but what he's saying is correct. ICE will be used against citizens who resist, probably. Can I post my song again? Yes, Gregory, I will. Here you go. Anyways, let's listen to this.
You hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if it is, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There is nothing they can't do. Justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There is nothing.
So is
they
Tucker
can't do to
is
you
Tucker
because they don't
is
consider
Tucker trying to incite? Is Tucker encouraging people to get in the fray? I mean, because what he's saying is correct, and many other people have echoed this. But does he have nefarious reasons for encouraging people to get out there? I don't know. It's hard to know. He seems more and more so, like someone who's willing to, like he's more so on the better side of the truth. But man, you really cannot trust anybody these days, especially people who used to be on Fox News and MSNBC and wear bow ties, for crying out loud. Here's Max Blumenthal on InfoWars, no less, kind of reiterating the same thing.
We're also concerned about where we're being taken in this country with the violence, with the social unrest. We're all being pitted against each other by murky forces. It seems like whatever happened here, the killer's identity and politics has already been determined, and Ted Cruz, one of the biggest assets for the Israel lobby in the Senate, just went out in his oversight hearing with Kash Patel, the FBI director, and said, we have to go after this killing, we have to go after Palestine activism in this country and shut it down. What did Palestinians have to do with this, or Palestine activism? It's like the narrative is already prefabricated.
And that's why I'm told by DOJ sources that they know it's crazy trans people, at least on the surface, but they're being told go away from that. It's wild. So now we have the administration, not Trump, but his people literally trying to steer it, because that's the talking point Netanyahu put out before Kirk's body had even gotten cold.
We're also concerned about where we're being taken in this country with.
Okay. I'm, among all the bots and the, whatever that the Patriot narrative line that I'm seeing on Twitter or X or whatever is a very fierce pushback on the idea that Israel had something to do with Kirk assassination. They're like, no, really? You think Israel did it? Like, it's, and it's like a lot. And it's, I'm also seeing a ton of Congress people on Twitter saying the most insane, ridiculous, insightful, divisive stuff. We got to deport Ilhan Omar. We got, let's get rid of these lefties. These lefties are insane. And they think Israel did it, and we got to get rid of, like, it's nuts. Let's listen to Kim Iverson talking about this.
Well, it's probably no surprise that Charlie Kirk's assassination is going to be used to justify censoring Americans. But I want to share with you the video that Trump actually reposted, and this video has now gone viral. It's quite alarming.
You name it the Charlie Kirk Act, you make it a law, and you make it damn near impossible for these people to continue to lie to the American public, which has brought chaos, hatred, division, and anarchy all across this country. Because of their constant lies, a man lost his life over it. because of the constant hateful rhetoric of calling him a fascist and a Nazi and a white supremacist and a bigot, the same thing that they called you.
Trump retweeted this. You reposted this, which is what's made this go viral. If you didn't tell me.
The thing is that all of this, calling somebody a bigot or a fascist, is completely covered in free, but they're really doing the old reverse hate speech thing that the left did to, when they were kicking Alex Jones and Trump off of Twitter. Right? They're saying these things, they pretty much are, the reasons that they used to shut down the right at one time are all being used as victimhood by the right. Oh, they called us Nazis, even though we are Nazis. Another insane thing I saw was like, they're calling, it was a Israeli or someone from that camp saying like, they're calling us, they say that we're committing genocide because they want to, assassinate us or whatever. I'm like, dude, people are calling you genociders because they don't want people being killed indiscriminately. That doesn't mean they want to kill you indiscriminately. They don't know how you don't understand that there, buddy. But, that's, again, the logic of like, well, we gotta strip you of your rights because we feel threatened, kind of thing. And whatever false flag nonsense that the Charlie Kirk thing was is obviously being used to do whatever they need to do. Let's
me she was a conservative, I wouldn't have known. They're instead establishing their own Ministry of Truth. They're going to rename it Charlie Kirk Act, but they're really just going to silence dissent, silence voices they don't like. And I didn't like it when the left did it, and I don't like it when the right's doing it. And the short-sightedness of the right is that they will create all of these mechanisms to censor and silence and ban. When the left gets back in power, they will use every single one of these weapons that the right has created.
Right.
They will use these weapons on the right, and they will say, thank you for that. Thank you for the tool.
Exactly.
We're going to use it. But now we're going to use it against you because we think you're the fascist. We think you're the Nazi. We think that you're the dangerous one. And so we have to stop you. And we're just going to get more and more extreme. And it's extremely alarming that Donald Trump decided to retweet this video calling for the censorship of mainstream media and independent media. The counter to mainstream media is independent media. The counter to any opinion you don't like is more opinions and more conversation, not censorship. People have completely lost their minds. Censorship is on the rise. We have to definitely be weary of this and combat that.
Yeah. I mean, it's already, the reverse is already being implemented, right? It's exactly when the left was like, yeah, shut them up. Some people shouldn't have free speech because they're hateful. Yeah, everybody said, hey guys, don't do that. Hey guys, if you do that, it's going to come back on you. Hello, like it all, in many instances, it came back on the left. The boomerang came back way more quickly, almost immediately in some cases, as far as being like kicked off social media. But on a societal level or on an institutional level, it's happening now, right? Their wishes to shut people up for having speech that they don't like is being weaponized against them in the most ridiculous way. And all you have to, all I have to say is like, well, you should have seen that coming. But I don't know. People are driven by narratives and propaganda and thoughts that are not their own. They think should be their own, but they don't understand that they're not actually wholly their own. it's, there's, you're on Amtrak, Kate? Okay. Are you going somewhere fun or somewhere nice? I hope so. Oh, God. Here is Stephen Miller declares he will carry out Charlie Kirk's final wish to him that left-wing NGOs be held criminally liable for fomenting violence. Criminally liable for fomenting violence. Holy shnikes. What? Oh, Lord. We've gone full clown car.
As the president mentioned, attacks on ICE officers, attacks on Border Patrol agents, organized doxing campaigns, which are a violation of federal law. They break off cement and they bring into riots. They have organized drop points for weapons, organized.
Oh, bro, you're talking about, so you're trying to pin that on left-wing NGOs? Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills too, Timothy. I feel very, I don't know what. It's been a weird, hard morning because I feel kind of untethered a little bit because of what is going on is so insane that I'm, feel like I'm being lifted out of reality somewhat, and I need to somehow ground myself in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure what that is. Is he describing the LAPD? I know, exactly. It's just,
drop points.
It doesn't matter. They can just point a finger and blame. That's how it works. You just point a finger and blame somebody for something, and the hordes of either real people or fake people on the internet are like, yeah. It works both ways.
For a gas mask, organized drop points for all the materials necessary to launch a riot. Of course, you saw that during the Black Lives Matter riots as well, too. So there's this whole network of organizations. And I think the key point the president's been making is somebody is paying for all of this. This is not happening for free. And so under the president's direction, the attorney general is going to find out who is paying for it, and they will not be criminally liable for paying for violence.
Even if
So I think what you're referring to is there are these
evidence. That's the thing, is that they're just creating stuff that isn't real to make it. Here, we got the evidence. See, the guy that they have in jail, clearly not the shooter, not the dude, the whole thing was a false flag. It's not real. They're just this guy, lefty, probably trans. They're just making shit up and going like, there you go. So it doesn't, whatever they say about who NGOs or somebody said this or somebody, that's all freaking fake. They don't have any evidence, or they're not interested in due process, or they're interested in pointing fingers and creating a mob mentality around it, which again, the left is actually guilty of doing the same shit 5 years ago or 6 years ago, creating this like mob mentality bullshit to get them, screw those people, we don't need any whatever. It doesn't, evidence be damned. Somebody just accused somebody of something and pointed a finger, and that's all we need. Get them, and that's what they're doing. They're just pointing fingers, accusing people, and then just going like, well, this is what we have a mandate. This is what people want us to do. Whatever. I don't know what that is, man. It looks like a B-2 bomber. I don't know. Okay, Greg Reese put out something good. Well, hold on. Let's stay here. This whole show is just going to be about. Well, I'm just ranting about the craziness that's going on, and then afterwards we'll all get back to our, quote unquote normal lives. Blaming everything on Israel really minimizes the scope of the NWO, the New World Order. I mean, yeah, she's, yeah, but they really are a big part of this. The U.S. isn't occupied. Yes, they are. By Israel. Yes, they are. They're both part of the same global ruling class who have been in power for centuries. The NWO is being implemented everywhere, and everyone has their marching orders. Well, yeah, that's true. But, whatever is, I don't know, whatever's behind, it's absolutely Israel and whoever's behind Israel, controlling Israel. And we can call that the global, or whatever you want to call it, satanic fascist order or something like that. Who knows? But we're absolutely occupied by Israel. We were absolutely occupied by Israel. Absolutely, 100% occupied by Israel. I don't know how that's just not apparent. I don't know how that can't be more stupidly apparent than, it is. Hold on. Unusual Wales says foreign central banks now own more gold than U.S. treasuries for the first time in 30 years, per Bloomberg. Trump cooked this country in 8 months. Burrow. Here's a woman saying the British gave up their firearms in 1997. I didn't know that, actually. I thought, I guess I didn't know the year. I know that is she sure she's not talking about Australians? Hold on. Anyways, less than 30 years later, they're being arrested for social media posts. I don't need this song. Hold on. I mean, people say the same thing about Australia. Hold on. I thought that for a long time they really didn't have personal firearms. Most significant change occurred in 1997 following the DuPlain school shooting, which led to complete ban on handguns for civilians. So it was 1997. Okay. There you go. When did Australia give up their firearms? I said Australia. Let's see. 1996. So around the same year. Interesting. Canadians were paid $1,500 to turn in their AR-15s. Okay. Apparently they passed a bill lowering the age of being charged as an adult in DC to 14. Wow. People in DC can be tried as adults for first-degree murder, sexual assault, armed robbery, and assault. Mostly passed by Republicans, but there were enough Democrats to willing to jump the aisle and go, sure, I'll help you out with this one. Thanks, Democrats. Sure know how to make someone feel democratic. What's up, Beauty and the Boomer? Retweeting the show. Thank you. Oh, okay. Somebody got me on Ko-Fi today. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Greg Reese put this out about the Genius Act, the Stablecoin Act, something everyone should be aware of. You have a comment coming by? Okay. 2 comments? 2 comments pass by Earth now. Just go ahead now. See what I did there? All right.
While Charlie Kirk's death is being used by political agents to attack freedom of speech and to further divide an already divided nation, many are wondering what happens next. And most financial analysts these days will tell you what's next. Radical change in the U.S. economy is coming. The U.S. government is facing a criminally irresponsible debt crisis. The world is losing faith in the dollar and growing more and more disgusted with the crimes against humanity that the USD money printing machines are funding every day. Cutting spending didn't work, and the next attempt to try and save the U.S. debt-based system can be found in the recent Genius Act. In short-term investing, the volatility of Bitcoin can allow a person to profit immensely, but only if they have a stablecoin to convert to when the market corrects itself. This is the foundational purpose of a stablecoin, to maintain a stable value so that one's investment can be temporarily secured. The plan outlined in the Genius Act is to create an increased demand for U.S. debt by requiring stablecoin companies to be backed by U.S. debt, thereby using stablecoins as a way to funnel global money into U.S. government debt. President Putin's advisor, Anton Kobyakov, says that the U.S. is planning a worldwide crypto rug pull to erase its massive debt by creating a U.S. debt-based stablecoin system and then devalue it, robbing the people of their money to pay off its debt.
Right now, America is trying to change the rules in the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember how much debt they.
What? I'm going to pause it there for a second. What are you saying, Chuck? It's not really debt. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter if they pay it off. What you mean? Explain. What do you mean? Is it just all? Are you talking about it's just made up? Because it's just how much money currently exists in the economy. Okay, sure. Stable coins aren't stable. No, they're not. I mean, everything is completely fictitious, by the way. Everything is a construct. The US dollar, Bitcoin, stable coins, even gold is a fucking construct. Gold isn't worth shit. It really isn't worth anything. It's just worth, somebody said it has a value. Gold is just some hunk of metal that somebody said has a value, just like diamonds. It doesn't really, everything is a construct. So yeah, okay. But they're treating it as real, which is what we have to worry about, because it doesn't, again, you can point to anything and say, this is why, this is because this thing over here, this is thing that happened. We have to do something because this thing happened, and it doesn't really, if they tank the stock market, and they can do that whenever they want, and it does, you know what I mean? Because it's all computers, right? It's all bots. It's all algorithms. It's all computers. All value is a construct. All value of anything is a construct. And because everything is digital, right? When they have like the flash crashes, there was a glitch, and a computer glitch, and a splitch in the system, and everything tanked for 20 minutes. But it all came back. Hardy har. You know how much money people make on those flash crashes? So whatever, they can crash the market any day. We can wake up tomorrow, the Dow can be down 20% or more, and they'll be like, oh guys, we're in a recession. Oh geez, what are we gonna do? It doesn't, they just make shit up. Resources are the real value. That is true. Absolutely true. Gold is the most liquid commodity, which is real. Yeah, sure. Again, it's only what they say it's worth. Yeah, gold is worth something, but at one time the U.S. government was like, give me your gold. At which point it ain't worth shit. Which they can do anytime they want to. Everybody's stocking gold and silver. A government, one day, you could wake up one day and a government can be like, give me your silver. On that day, it ain't worth shit. It doesn't, it's just everything runs on trust and faith. Everything. And belief. Anyways. Yeah. Back during the Great Depression, gold was being hoarded. Sure. Yeah, I mean, again, people agree that something is worth something, so it's worth something. It's more liquid because it's physical and you can hold on to it, and it, means supposedly more than dollar bills that are printed on paper. Sure, I get it. Again, though, that the price of gold and silver are highly manipulated, and they can do anything they want to the price at any time. If they want to send the price of gold, cut it in half tomorrow, they can, and they might. If they want to make it go to $10,000 an ounce, they can. I was just thinking about that, about Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin, it's being bought. You can say that Bitcoin is being hoarded or bought by a lot of like U.S. companies, and it is kind of wild that it's $110,000 a Bitcoin. That's a pretty wild thought. However, it is massively manipulated, who's to say that one day you won't wake up and Bitcoin won't be, $2 million of Bitcoin? It could easily do that at any moment that they're like, all right, well, we'll just let it go. They could do that. Or they could let it go the other way at any moment. So it's just all, take your chances. I don't know. Let's watch the rest of this.
We have $35 trillion. The U.S., just as it did in the 1930s and 1970s, will solve its financial problems at the expense of the entire world, driving everyone where? Into the cryptocurrency cloud. Over time, when part of the U.S. national debt is placed in stablecoins, the U.S. will devalue that debt. Once again, in simple terms, right now they have a $35 trillion currency debt. They move it into crypto, into the cloud, devalue it, and start from scratch.
Of course, this is all just money out of thin air, a desperate monetary sleight of hand that doesn't create new wealth and only shows that the system has failed. To show that Russia and other countries will not go along with this, he also said that the world will split up into zones.
The world isn't just moving to a new type of financial system. The world is moving away from fiat money and dividing into zones.
This is referring to a multipolar world where different sets of rules are applied to different zones, and signals the strong possibility that BRICS will not be buying U.S. debt in the near future. It is important to remember that the term and the idea of BRICS was conceived in 2001 by an economist at Goldman Sachs. U.S. regulations on stablecoins will likely push the market offshore, where stablecoin issuers will turn to real-world assets over U.S. debt. The U.S. will then have to manage the debt crisis by taxing the American people, most likely with a carbon tax system. Stablecoins have been predominantly used for investing, but they also have the ability to freeze and seize your money, which should please Trump supporters, who have been giddy schoolgirls over canceling people who offend them online. The future of technocratic banking control is already being deployed in Vietnam, who recently implemented a nationwide digital ID system that requires both citizens and foreign residents to permit the government to store their biometric data in a centralized database. Participation is not optional, and all accounts without biometric data will be closed. The Vietnamese government has already erased and or frozen 86 million bank accounts, and Vietnam is just the beta test. This is soon going worldwide. Greg Reese reporting.
It can't happen here.
Okay. Good info. And I'd say take that seriously. Sure. Yep. All right, guys. I think that is all the news that I am capable of bringing you today. And my head is kind of swimming. I'm gonna get back on track. And thank you guys. If you want to support the show, there's lots of ways to do it in the description box. All the usual links are there. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi. Thanks again, Rick, for the support. Thank you, Kate, for the support. Many of you support the show on the regular. I thank you for that. You know who you are. And I will be back tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific, and we'll do it all over again. And hopefully there'll be better news tomorrow. Hold your breath now. And always beware the bear.